All right, everybody, welcome back to part 45 of my 2025 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview series. Now, this might be it. I don't quote me, but I did pull. We have one stack of stuff off of the second shelf, and then I did pull everything off of the third shelf, and then we do have just a little bit on the next shelf over. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes with this part. We might have to do a part 46, which will be pretty short, but we'll see what happens. So let's get into it. So first up, we have The Challenge with Scott Glenn. Ninja, not really ninja, more samurai, but pretty cool film here. I was pretty happy when Kino put this out and they were running a sale, so I grabbed it. But good film. John Frankenheimer directed it. So there you go. And then Jerry Goldsmith did the music. You can't go wrong with that. Next up, we have Iron Man 1 and 2, which are the only ones I like. So we have the first one. Always like that cover, too. Always like that. That was done for the DVD and the Blu-ray, but always like that artwork. Then we have Iron Man 2. After that, Iron Man... It's funny because I actually saw Iron Man 3 in the theater, and I didn't really think much of it. But the funniest thing about that is I went with a guy that I used to be friends with. Again, we're not friends anymore because his wife doesn't like me. I wonder why. Could it be something I said? But we went, and there was a guy that we both know that actually has Tourette's, and he got up in front of the entire theater, and he was like, "Hey, I just want to let everybody know that I have Tourette's. So if you hear me yelling or screaming or whatever, I'm not trying to be a dick. I just can't help it. Sorry." And then everybody started clapping and everything. And I believe I think he only had one outburst during the movie because surprisingly, he was quiet, because I remember I used to see him a lot. He used to like come to the school plays and stuff, and I remember like hearing him in the audience. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh, it's him. So it's dark, I can't see you, But no, he was cool. And everybody started clapping, and that was the best thing about that movie. I'm not a fan of Iron Man 3 because that's when they turned him into a bitch, and instead of doing the alcoholic storyline, which they were going to do, which I think is why Jon Favreau quit, they said, oh, I have anxiety and I have panic attacks. And I'm like, really? In a fucking superhero movie? Oh, well, whatever. Next up, we have The Hitman's Bodyguard. I actually really like this film. I think I was in the Army, and me and my buddies watched it one night because I think it had just come out, and really liked it. I did not see the sequel, The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, or Wife's Bodyguard, or whatever it's called. Excuse me. But this one I actually enjoyed quite a bit. So there you go. Maybe one of these nights I'll do a double feature of 1 and 2. So there you go. Next up, we've got One Good Cop with Michael Keaton. Actually quite like this film. Not really an action movie, but it's got a little bit of action in there, but it's more of a drama. But I actually really like this film. And there is a director's commentary, which should be pretty cool to listen to. Great cast, too. Anthony LaPaglia plays his partner. Rene Russo is in this. Kevin Conway, Rachel Ticotin, Tony Plana. Love Tony Plana. And Benjamin Bratt. And it's funny because in this movie, Rene Russo plays Michael Keaton's wife. And Rene Russo was actually, when Michael Keaton was still going to do Batman Forever, Rene Russo was one of the ladies on the short list to be the leading lady, and they felt that Rene Russo was too old. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Michael Keaton is actually older than Rene Russo, and they had already played husband and wife in a movie before, so it just shows you the people that run these studios are fucking idiots. They always have been, for the most part at least. So there's that. We have Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Key Largo, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for Kokomo. We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down to Kokomo. I'm sorry. I have to calm down now. It's New Year's Eve, baby. But Cocktail. I like Cocktail. Come on. Elizabeth Shue, baby. Come on now. Then, well, actually, I should have did this one first because it came out first, but oh well. But we have Risky Business, which this is another film that I'm surprised that they did not do. Maybe I want to say no, did they? I have to look it up. It's bothering me. That's another one I was going to say. I'm surprised does not have a super duper deluxe Blu-ray, but I could be wrong. Let me look that up here while we have time. No, okay, see, I was right because Criterion actually released this, so and it actually has new extra features, so I'll have to get that. I could have sworn, I'm like, wait a minute, my spider sense is tingling here. So there's that. But yeah, there is an upgraded Blu-ray, but I'll have to get that of Risky Business. But great movie. And that's one of this movie was the movie that made Tom Cruise a superstar. So there you go. And the very, very hot Rebecca De Mornay. Rebecca De Mornay is still hot. I don't care what anyone says. She's still a babe. And another great Tom Cruise movie that I love and I wish would get a updated super duper deluxe Blu-ray, but The Last Samurai. Now the shitty thing about this is it's an early Blu-ray, so the bonus features they just stuck on a DVD because they were too fucking lazy. But I always really liked this movie. I want to say I have this on VHS as well. But I remember when it came out, I remember hearing about it. I want to say I rented the DVD or my dad borrowed the DVD from a friend of his or something. I can't remember, something like that. But I really like this film. I have not watched it in forever. I need to change that. But that's another one that I would love if Criterion or somebody would pick it up because it deserves it. Last Samurai is a great movie. Then we have Gridiron Gang, which I actually quite like this one with The Rock. Sorry, I cannot fucking talk. And I got a Coca-Cola next to me, so there's no excuse. I have caffeine and sugar. But I actually like this film quite a bit. It did not do well when it came out. Let's try that again. But I don't know. I'm a sucker for, these kind of movies. And then we have LA Confidential, which is a good movie, and it's so funny to me that, this was the movie in 97. It made all this money. It won all these Oscars. It was the talk of the town and everything. And now nobody brings this movie up, which again, don't get me wrong, it is a good movie. I do like it. If I didn't, I would not have it in my collection. But I just, again, find it so funny that it's one of those films that just, won all these Oscars and everything, and then you just never heard anybody talk about it again, like a lot of films that have won Oscars that you never... What won Oscars this year? Yeah, I couldn't even tell you because I don't give a fuck, first of all, so there's that. But this movie I do give a fuck about, The Client. I actually quite like this film as well, from Joel Schumacher. I have A Time to Kill. It might have, some of this stuff kind of got shifted, but yeah, it's the same director, so oh well. But yeah, I do really like The Client. This is another one. I don't know why they've never done an upgraded Blu-ray, because the only extra feature is the pilot for the TV series with Joe Beth Williams, and I think John Hurd were the leads on that, but that's it. Then we have actually some Patrick Swayze movies here. So first up, I have the Australian release of Uncommon Valor, because at the time that I bought this, it was only available in Australia. It has since gotten a Blu-ray here, but there's no extra features, and there's no extra features on this, which is a shame because the movie deserves it as far as I'm concerned. But the shitty thing is half of the cast is dead. I mean, Reb Brown is still alive. Tim Thomerson's still alive, but he's getting up there. Randall Tex Cobb is still alive, but everybody else is dead. Robert Stack is dead. Fred Ward, Gene Hackman, Swayze, they're all gone now. But love Uncommon Valor. Great movie. This was actually the first movie. I don't know if it was the first one, but it was one of the first. We're going to go back to Vietnam and get the POWs. So this was before Rambo First Blood Part 2. It was before Missing in Action. And nobody ever brings that movie up, but I love it. Then we have the aforementioned Young Blood, directed by Peter Markle. But always dug this movie. Always enjoyed this one. And Cynthia Gibb was so damn cute back in the day. And she takes her shirt off, so I'm definitely not complaining about that. Then we have Fatherhood. There you go. From, I think Disney put, Hollywood Pictures, same thing. But this is another film that didn't do that well, but not a bad little movie. And then we have his version of King Solomon's Mines, which was made actually for the Hallmark Channel before they started doing 9,000 Christmas movies. But I actually watched this back in the day and quite liked it. I remember watching it, and my dad's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "King Solomon's Mines with Swayze." "Well, how long is it?" I said, "It's 3 hours." He goes, 3 hours? I'm like, "Yeah, it's made for a mini series or whatever." He's like, "Why is it 3 hours?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't make it." But, sorry. But I did like this. I can't complain. Then we got some more older, I cannot talk, 88 films releases. We have The One-Armed Sword. Jesus Christ, hold on. Damn hiccups and burping and everything else. The One-Armed Swordsman with Jimmy Wang Yu. So there's that. And then we also have another Jimmy Wang Yu movie, The Chinese Boxer. And then again, these are the older ones. So these were probably really cheap to get. And then when they started getting a little bigger, then they started doing the Jackie Chan movies. And then we have another Jimmy Wang Yu movie, The One-Armed Boxer. And I know a lot of people are like, who is Jimmy Wang Yu? Well, he was Bruce Lee before Bruce Lee. He was, at the time, before Bruce Lee exploded, he was the big Hong Kong action guy, Hong Kong martial arts guy. But apparently he was not a very nice man. But I like his movies, I like his style, but yeah, apparently he's has since passed away, but apparently he was a very sketchy character, and he treated a lot of people poorly. Not Jackie Chan though. Jackie Chan speaks very, very glowingly of him. Apparently he took care of Jackie Chan very well, but yeah, apparently he was not a very nice guy, and there were some very sketchy things about him and such, but I don't know what is true and what is not true, but I enjoyed his films. But yes, I know a lot of you are probably watching, wondering who the hell is Jimmy Wang Yu. Well, he was Bruce Lee before Bruce Lee. So there you go. Next up we have America! Fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah! Because this movie is awesome. It's funny because Paramount put this out on Blu-ray themselves, but it didn't have any of the features from the DVD, and it didn't have the unrated cut. Then Suck Factory put it out, and they actually put all the extras on there and the unrated version, so there you go. But I love Team America. It's, again, I cannot get into South Park. I can never get into South Park. But I like the South Park movie. I like some of the video games that came out. I like Team America, and I like basketball. So, I don't know. It just depends. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. Then we have, this is the Mill Creek put this out. I think Kino put this out, but it didn't have any extras. But An Innocent Man with Tom Selleck, which is a pretty good little flick. Then we have one of actually Marlon Brando's last films, but the score. I actually did not mind this movie. I think, and it's directed by Miss Piggy himself, Frank Oz, I believe. And not a bad film. I do enjoy this movie. I don't think it did that well when it came out. I think it flopped. But I like it for what it is. I think Kino put this back out, but it didn't have any new extras. So there you go. But one thing that's interesting about this movie, at least to me, Edward Norton is from Baltimore. In this movie, he wears a Baltimore Orioles baseball hat. I don't think he ever did that in any other films. So there you go. And then we have the remake of 12 Angry Men that was done, I think, for Showtime back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. But this has an amazing cast. You've got Jack Lemmon and George C. Scott are the leads. Then you got Courtney B. Vance, who I've always liked. Ozzie Davis, legend. Armin Mueller-Stahl from the X-Files movie, amongst other things. Dorian Harewood, who did the voice of War Machine on the Iron Man cartoon in the 90s, and he was also on the TV series Viper back in the day. He was one of the bad guys in Sudden Death with Van Damme. James Gandolfini, Tony Danza, Michael T. Williamson, who I love, Edward James Olmos, who I love, William Peterson, and it's directed by William Friedkin. You really can't go wrong there, so good stuff. Then I have La Bamba. This is the Region 2 UK release, because I think at the time this came out, La Bamba either was not on Blu-ray or it did not have the features, but this actually has all the features from the DVD. So there you go. But great biopic, one of my favorite biopics. Sad, it's heartbreaking what happened to Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper and all the people that were killed in that plane crash. The day the music died, as they say, which was true. But great movie. LDP for life, baby. So love Lou Diamond Phillips. Next up, actually the only Zack Snyder movie I like, the Dawn of the Dead remake. So there you go. I don't like really any of his other films, but I actually quite enjoyed this one. This one and the Night of the Living Dead remake. Actually, the Night of the Living Dead remake I like more than the original. Is this as good as the original? I would say no, but it's still a good movie. And I do like it for what it is. But you can't top... It's fucking Dawn of the Dead. You can't top that film. Come on now. And save the Monroeville Mall. We don't need another fucking Walmart. I know that much. Next up, I was so excited when Kino announced that they were putting this out, because I actually really enjoyed this film. I want to say, I think I had the DVD, but the DVD was out of print for a while and it could get expensive. But I was very happy when they announced they were putting out Last of the Dogmen on Blu-ray, because this is another film that was just constantly on HBO back in the day, and I would watch it quite a bit. And very happy that they put this out on Blu-ray, because I really like this movie. That's just me. Then we have another movie that Kino put out that I was very happy for. But we have Half-Baked, one of my favorite stoner comedies. Cannot go wrong with this movie. An absolute classic. Dave Chappelle's line, "I don't want to be the first ninja that gets killed by a crossbow." Every time I see it, it cracks me up. Then we have the 40th anniversary 4K and Blu-ray of Apocalypse Now. This is the final cut, because Francis Ford Coppola just had to keep going back and re-editing Apocalypse Now for whatever reason. Actually, I've only ever seen the theatrical cut. I quite like the theatrical cut. I haven't seen any of the extended versions. So disc 1 and 2 are the 4Ks. I think I got rid of those. Actually, no, I didn't. They're still in here. Okay, I thought maybe I sold the 4Ks, but because I was doing that for a while, because I had no interest in getting a 4K player. But then it's like, well, this movie, the features are only on the 4K. Well, fuck you. So now I have to buy it. Oh, well, like I think Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving But the 4K has more extras than the regular Blu-ray, so I have to buy the 4K. But oh well. So anyway, I'm sorry. Final cut, Apocalypse Now, final cut. The original theatrical cut and the redo are on another disc, and then you get an extra features disc, which has new extra features, and then I think all the stuff from the previous releases, and then you have Heart of Darkness, the documentary. So there you go. I had the old, like, 2-disc DVD of Apocalypse Now, which had both versions, but I only ever watched the theatrical cut, and I really like the theatrical cut. So yes, it was notoriously one of the most difficult movies ever to make, but, you know, sometimes it works, and it worked in that movie because I think it's a great film. So there you go. Another great film, Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is A Failure to Communicate, which I had a teacher, a substitute teacher in school. Every time we would act up, he would always say that, and I was like, oh, Cool Hand Luke. But he was cool. Nice guy. But Apocalypse Now. One of the greatest lines in a movie ever. Another great movie that I actually quite enjoy, and was part of it, I don't think all of it, but I think part of it was filmed in Baltimore. Ladder 49. Yeah, I actually really enjoy this film. But like I said, I think I have to look it up, but I know part of it was shot in Baltimore because I remember when they shot it. I didn't go to be an extra or anything, but I think I might have been in high school when they shot that. But I do remember when they were shooting that there. Then we have Say Anything. Great movie. I got this FYE. It was on sale. But this is another one. I'm surprised that they've never done a super duper deluxe. Maybe they have and I just don't realize it. Like with Risky Business. And then we have another. I should put this with the Tom Cruise movies, but I'm going to shuffle some things around anyway. But we have Rain Man. Great film. I think this one might have a 4K with some new extras. That I would have to look into, but great film. Gotta go to Kmart. I love Kmart. Fucking miss Kmart. Kmart was the best. Bitches. And there you go. Alright, then we have some Wallace and Gromit here. Can't go wrong with these guys. Love Wallace and Gromit. So first up, this is the complete collection, although it's not complete, but you know how it is. So this has the original 3 specials, Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and A Close Shave, and then A Matter of Loaf and Death, which they did later. I want to say I still have the original 3 on VHS. That we'll get into that when we get into that. But I remember they used to show them on Christmas Christmas Day, back in the Gap, and we would watch them when we were opening presents and stuff. But love the original 3. This is 3, 5. The original 3 I love. I don't think I ever saw the other one. And then we have Wallace and Gromit's World of Invention, which was a 6-part series that they did, I think, again, later on. So there's that. And then we have The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which was the movie. So there you go. And I think that's all the Wallace and Gromit stuff. I don't think they've done... Maybe a series or something, but to my knowledge, that's everything. So there you go. Another old school Disney classic, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Cannot go wrong. Then I don't have the series, but I have the movies. I have to get the series, but we have the Thunderbirds films, Thunderbirds Argo and Thunderbirds 6. Love Thunderbirds, love the old puppets and everything. Like that's why I like Team America, because Team America was a parody of Thunderbirds. And I remember telling people that when I was a kid, and they're like, what the hell is Thunderbirds? I'm like, you never watched Thunderbirds? Like, come on now. Thunderbirds is a classic. Oh well, uncultured fucking people. Anyway, this is a newer Disney... Well, not newer, it's 25 years old, but this is a Disney film that I actually always really enjoyed. I don't think it blew up at the box office, but I quite like it. But it's Dinosaur. I remember watching this in school, actually, like in the third grade or something. They put it on, but yeah, I dig this movie. I can't complain about Dinosaur. That's a good little flick in my opinion. And then we've got some Arnold. Got some Arnold Blu-rays here that we are going to talk about now. Get down, come on, what are you doing? So first up, we got Pumpin' Iron, which it was just stuck on DVD here in America. It did get a Blu-ray in Australia, as you could see. But love Pumpin' Iron. Which a lot of it was, they tried to make it like a movie, not really a documentary. Like the whole thing where Arnold, like the story that Arnold tells about his brother dying and he didn't go back for the funeral. That's not true. That was made up for the movie. When Arnold's brother did pass away, he did go, obviously, back and took the funeral and everything. But yeah, that was just made up for the film to make Arnold look like the... And it's funny because they tried to make Arnold look like the villain, and what happened? After that, everyone's like, who the fuck is this guy? And why is he not bigger and stuff like that? So there you go. But it's just funny how it worked out. Like the stuff where he's messing with Lou Ferrigno, they told them to do that to make it look like he was the bad guy and shit like that. And he really wasn't. So, there you go. But we know this now, years later. And then I have the Conan films. These are the Australian releases because these, before the Arrow set came out, I had these way before the Arrow set. I need to get that. These actually had more extras. I think Barbarian was on Blu-ray, but it didn't have all the extra features. And also, I think this is the original theatrical cut, too. And then Destroyer, I don't think was on Blu-ray, and it had more extras than the American version, so there you go. And I think these are they're region locked, but oh well. But we have Conan the Barbarian, absolute classic, can't go wrong. So Conan made Arnold a star, but the Terminator made him a legend, so there you go. Because Conan... Yeah, it's like, oh, here's that guy from that documentary, and now he's doing movies, and you believe it's all him, and it's, no stunt doubles, which is not true. Arnold did a lot of his stunts for Conan, but they used a double for some of the more dangerous stuff. But he actually did get bit by the dog, because that's in the outtakes. And then we have Conan the Destroyer, which I always enjoyed. I don't know. I used to say I like Destroyer more. I don't know. I like them both kind of the same, I would suppose. But yeah, I'm glad that we didn't, because I know they were talking about doing a third one now, like when he's older. No, we didn't need a third Conan movie. So there you go. And then we have the German 4K Blu-ray of The Running Man. Nice digibook here. Always love that artwork. I think that was one of the posters. And the reason why I got this is because this actually has all the extra features and then more from the DVDs and such. The other Blu-ray that I have, that actually has a different commentary track with the director, Paul Michael Glaser, a.k.a. Starsky. But this has they did that shitty special edition DVD which had no features about the movie. But this actually does have features about the movie and commentaries and such on here. So there you go. But love The Running Man. That remake flopped so hard, I told people, and I'm like, good, because you cannot remake an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. They tried. Conan the Barbarian flopped. Total Recall flopped. They remade Terminator with Arnold in it, and those flopped as well. Running Man flopped. You cannot remake a Schwarzenegger film. It's not gonna work. So quit while you're ahead. Stop doing it. There you go. And then I have 2 Terminator 2 Blu-rays. So first up, I had this one before, and then I got rid of it for whatever reason, but I got it back again. But this is the 2015 release, because there was a prior Blu-ray to that. But I got this one because it actually has... not all of them, but it's got extra features from the DVDs. That's the problem. I talked about this before, which is why I still have Terminator 2 on DVD twice, because those, not all the features made it to the Blu-rays. So there you go. Hopefully, maybe one day they will do that, but I doubt it's going to happen. And it's Lionsgate. It's the same fucking people, and they still fuck this up. What a shock. But this does have all 3 versions of the movie on here, which I think the prior Blu-ray did not. And then it's got the making of Terminator 2, More Than Meets the Eye, and then there's, I think, behind the scenes footage, and then it was the documentary on the other DVD about special effects and stuff. So yeah. And then I have the 4K release, which this is the awful transfer, but there is a brand new 1-hour documentary that has new interviews with Arnold and Robert Patrick and everybody. And then it's got, again, some of the older features, but it doesn't have all of the extras. I don't know why they keep fucking this up again, which is why I still have them on DVD. And the Laserdisc was the only way to get the Guns N' Roses music video for a while. So there you go. Then we have The Sixth Day, which is okay. I don't mind this movie for what it is. It's not the worst Arnold movie. It's not the greatest Arnold movie, but it's all right. I remember seeing this when it first came out on VHS back in the day. And then I have the German release of Sabotage, which is not a good movie, but Arnold was fun. Arnold was not the problem, other than his stupid haircut, which apparently he was very vocal about. He was very vocal about his awful haircut. But there is actually interviews on here with Arnold. Now they were recorded on the set of the movie and such, but that's okay. But yeah, I actually saw this in the theater, and it was me and a guy I used to be friends with, and I think there was a lady in there, and the lady got up and walked out 30 minutes into the movie and never came back. I don't think she got her money back, but because that's bullshit. Like, everybody thinks you could just go and get your money back. That's a myth. That has never happened. So there you go. All right, and then we have some Michael Dudikoff. Cannot go wrong with the dude. So there you go. So first up, I have, well, most of it here is just American Ninja 1 and 2 on different releases. So first up, I have the 88 films release, because this has the documentary from here is not on the other releases. So that's why I have this. And then I have the Kino release, because the Kino release had the stuff from the Olive Films release on there. And I think also, okay, no, the commentary track is the same. Again, the documentary from the 88 films release is not on the Kino release, so that's why I have both. And then so the documentaries are different. Okay, all right. So this was done first, and then Olive Films did their own, which is on here. And then it does have, there's one the commentary track from here is on here, but this has another commentary track as well. So there's different features across both of these. So that's why I have those. And then we have the 88 films release of American Ninja 2. This was actually out of print, and this was expensive for a while. I've managed to get mine a little cheaper. And then we have the Kino release. Now, the features from both of these are the same. I just wanted to keep both because you get the different artworks, which I love. And it's fucking American Ninja 2. But this only has a commentary. But the commentary on here made it to this one, but this one has another commentary and a making of, which isn't on here. So, technically, I guess I'll probably get rid of this, but it's the first 2 American Ninjas were the best. I don't mind holding on to them. Again, it's fucking American Ninja 1 and 2. And then I have the Bounty Hunters movies, which these came out from Echo Bridge, which I like these movies. They're pretty fun. So we have the first movie, which also has Lisa Howard. She was on the Highlander TV series for a little bit. The very lovely Lisa Howard. And then we have Bounty Hunters 2 Hardball. So there you go. And I actually just got the second one on Laserdisc. It only came out overseas. But we'll cover that down the road. Alright. So moving on. We have Nightbreed. This is the Cabal cut. This was, I think, a Kickstarter project or what have you, where this is the longest version of Nightbreed. Let me see what it says here. This is the 2.5 hour version of Nightbreed. A composite edit of all Nightbreed cuts, work prints, and available production dailies. So yeah, they made it the longest version of Nightbreed possible. So there you go. And yeah, this was a Kickstarter thing. This went really quick, and they were on eBay for ridiculous prices, and I was able to kind of wait around and get one that was cheap. But there you go. And it's, what else does it say here? In order to include as much footage as possible, the Cabal cut includes 12 minutes of VHS workprint video and 30 minutes of VHS workprint audio. So there you go. Because the thing about Nightbreed was the Fox put it out in theaters and they released their cut, and the director's cut, they thought it was lost, but there was like a college that had it, and they were like, it's not lost, we have it. And the director's cut was never lost, they just didn't have access to it, and then they found it, and then that's when they did the director's cut and they added some other stuff on there. So yeah, I still haven't watched that version. I've only seen Nightbreed once, though, and I only watched the director's cut. I've never seen the theatrical version. Excuse me. Then we have the Quatermass Experiment. Not Quartermass, it's Quatermass. Some Hammer sci-fi here. There you go. Then I have the Vinegar Syndrome release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, because this has new extra features, which is not on the Arrow release. I have the Arrow release. We covered that previously because that was sent to me by Pancake Poppy. But there is, well, it's a 4K Blu-ray. Not that I care about the 4K, but yeah, there's brand new interviews and new extras, and then it has all the extras from the previous releases. But I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's probably my favorite Texas Chainsaw movie. So there's that. Then we have Jack's Back. Really like this film from... actually, Paramount put this out. I think they just distributed the movie. I don't think they made the movie. But James Spader. Love James Spader. And it's directed by Rowdy Harrington, who did Roadhouse and Striking Distance with Bruce Willis. So there you go. Then we have Graveyard Shift. You're going to be on Star Search. But can't go wrong with good old Stephen Mock. Love Stephen Mock. I met Stephen Mock. The first time I went to Monster Mania, he was there. Really nice guy. Him and the kids, as I call them, from the Oh yeah, they played the kids, but they're all adults now. They were all cool. Very nice people. So there you go. Then we have Bad Moon, one of my favorite werewolf movies. And what's really cool about this Blu-ray is it actually has the work print, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no. It has a director's cut and the theatrical version. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Which actually, hold on, I think the director's cut is the work print, though. I don't think it's like cleaned up and everything. But yeah, one of my favorite werewolf movies. Pretty good one that never gets talked about. Then we have The Ambulance. Great movie here with Eric Roberts. I actually brought this up to Eric Roberts when I met him. I said, that was such a cool film. And he goes, yeah, that was cool to do. I like that one. I was like, cool. Then we have the House of Wax remake, which the only thing that people talk about this movie is the fact that Paris Hilton gets killed. But it is actually one of the better horror remakes out there, I will say. So, and Paris Hilton is actually not bad in this movie, and there is a interview with her on here. I was actually surprised that they were able to get an interview with her, but oh well. Then we have the 4K Blu-ray combo of Natural Born Killers, which is a great movie, but it is not a movie that I watch all the time. Number one, it does get a little too much, at least in my opinion, you know, with kind of the blurring of the lines of, you know, what could be perceived as reality and what could be perceived as entertainment, entertainment makes people do, it does get a little much at times, but it is a great movie. I can't sit here and say that it's not, because it is. But I think this has both versions of the film. Yes. And there's a couple new interviews, but not much. And then it has all the extra features from the previous releases and such. But yeah, like I said, it is a great movie. I do really enjoy it, but it's not one that I watch all the time, and it's not one that I watch over and over and over again. Because like I said, it does get a little too much. Not the violence doesn't bother me in that movie, but the message, so to speak, it's like, well, this is why people kill, and it's like, okay, enough. And I know other movies have done it, but I don't think they go that deep into a lot of stuff. But that movie, at times, it can be a little much. I'll say that. Then we have The Peacemaker with George Clooney. I actually quite like this film. I thought this was pretty solid. Good little movie in my book. I think it made money, but it didn't exactly explode at the box office. But it is a good little action flick, at least in my book. Excuse me. Next up, we have Layer Cake, which was before Casino Royale, pre-James Bond, Daniel Craig. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn. I think he did some of the later X-Men movies, but I've never seen this movie, but I heard a lot of good things about it, so I'll have to give that a watch sometime soon here. Then we have Point Blank, which is the character of Parker, which Mel Gibson would play in Payback, although they called him Porter. This is the first movie with that character, so I actually enjoyed this film quite a bit, and it's the same story as Payback. Payback is looked at as a remake of this movie, but it's the same character. I think in here he's called Parker. No, he's called Walker. Sorry. But the character's name is Parker in the books. I think the book series is called The Hunter, if I'm not mistaken. I never read any of the books, but they did that. They did Payback with Mel Gibson, and then Parker with Jason Statham. They did as well. So there you go. And then we have Live by Night. I want to say this was sent to me by I think it was Steven sent it to me. Decker Striker. I think. I could be wrong. But not bad. Not a bad little gangster movie. I do like it for what it is. I don't think it did much, but I like the movie for what it is. That's just me. Alright, and then this was also sent to me by Steven. This is Diablo, which is a Western that has Scott Eastwood, Clint's son, and Walton Goggins. And I still have not... Oh, Camilla Bell is in this? Oh, cool. I like her. She's a cutie. So there's that. Anyway, there's that. So I haven't watched it yet. And then I have, this was the Ghostbusters 35th anniversary edition, but I already had the movies, so I just kept the extra features disc because that had new features, and I think it might have been a 4K. I sold the 4K off, and I just kept the, it was, I think, 2 4Ks, yeah. So I sold those off, and I just kept the extra features disc. So there's that. Because I'm nuts like that. You want to get nuts? You want to get fucking crazy? Anyway. Then we have The Butterfly Effect. Actually really like this film. I never saw any of the sequels, but I don't think I need to. But this one I enjoyed. Then we have the Jetsons movie, which is weird because Universal actually did the Jetsons movie, even though technically the Hanna-Barbera stuff is under Warner Brothers, but because, again, Universal did the movie, they control it. So Kino actually put this out, which is pretty cool. But love I remember watching this one a lot. This was like always on TV back in the day. I think the series, though, I think that's on Blu-ray, so I'll have to get that too, because I love the Jetsons. I got my mom the Flintstones Blu-ray a couple years ago for Christmas, so we have that. But I love all those classic cartoons. Excuse me. Then we have Black Moon Rising, which John Carpenter wrote the film. I think he was supposed to direct it and then something changed. But he did write the film. And it's got a ton of extra features on here. I am surprised how much it does have, but that's still cool. But it's a movie about a car thief, and it's like a super high-tech car and everything. And a great cast in here. You got Tommy Lee Jones is the lead. Linda Hamilton is in there, which I think this was right after Terminator. Robert Vaughn, I think, is the villain. Lee Ving from the punk band Fear. Bunch of good actors. Bubba Smith, bunch of great actors in here. So there you go. Then we have, unfortunately, one of the last movies Tony Scott did, but Unstoppable, which I've seen parts of the movie. I've not seen the whole movie, but I did like what I saw. So there you go. And then we have Spy Game, which this is another film that when it came out, I don't think it did that well at the box office, but I guess because it was Robert Redford and Brad Pitt, everybody talked about this movie. Like, no, I could not get away from this movie, but I've never seen it. But I found the Blu-ray cheap somewhere. Oh, and some guy named Tony Scott directed the film, so there you go. I should have put it before Unstoppable, but there you go. But yeah, I do remember just people would not stop talking about that movie when it came out. So I'll have to... I don't think I've ever seen it, but it's Tony Scott. So there you go. Then we have Vigilante Force, which I have heard of this film. I remember, I think Kino was running a sale and I grabbed it. But you got Jan Michael Vincent and Chris Christopherson in here. So and Bernadette Peters is in it from Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood. So again, if I like it, cool. If not, I think it was $5. I'll get over it. Then we have actually a great World War II movie. I've always really enjoyed this film, but I think this is another film that when it came out originally, it was a huge flop, but has gone on to become like a cult favorite. But Enemy at the Gates, I always really liked this film. Really good movie. I saw it when it first came out on VHS. Then we have Norris, McQueen, and Swayze. Not the ones you're thinking of, but this is Death Game with Mike Norris, Chuck Norris's son, Chad McQueen, Steve McQueen's son, and Don Swayze, Patrick Swayze's brother. But this is a fun little B movie. I think I still have this on VHS actually, but it's not bad. Yeah, Mike Norris tried to become an action star. It didn't really work because, no disrespect, but he was not his dad. Same with Chad McQueen. But Chad McQueen, from what I understand, I had heard from Gary Daniels. Like, Gary Daniels did an interview, and when they did that movie Firepower, he said, like, he had such a big ego, and he thought he was the next big thing, and he thought he was going to be just like his dad, and it didn't really work. But Gary Daniels said that they got along. There was never any problems between them. But he said, yeah, he had such a big ego. And he really thought he was going to be as big as his father and all that. And, of course, it didn't happen. And I hate to speak ill of the dead, but, that's just what he thought. And it didn't happen. Like, he was in the first Martial Law, which I like, but Martial Law 2 was way better. He did some other films, like he was in Karate Kid and such, but it just never happened. And then the guy died a couple years ago, sadly. So there you go. And then this was another movie that was sent to me by Jamaral81. It's Cherry 2000, which I think he also put in a paid request for me to review on the old channel. And I actually really like this film. And the director, Steve DeJarnot, he only directed this and Miracle Mile, and then he went into television. He actually directed a bunch of episodes of Lizzie McGuire, because when I was looking through that DVD, I saw his name on there. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize he did that. So that's pretty cool. Then we have another Clive Barker movie here. Excuse me. Rawhead Rex, which I've never seen. But again, Kino was running a sale. This was a steelbook. It was $5, so I just grabbed it. I was like, okay, we'll see what this is about, but never seen it. Then we have another great movie here, A Few Good Men. Cannot go wrong with A Few Good Men. Got this actually still sealed at a thrift store. But classic courtroom drama. Then we have The General's Daughter. I actually really like this film. I think this is pretty solid. And I think it did pretty well when it came out. Nobody ever talks about it anymore, but again, I actually quite like this film. It's a pretty good thriller. Really good cast, too. John Travolta, who I've always been a huge fan of. The very attractive Madeline Stowe. Cannot go wrong with her. James Cromwell, James Woods, Timothy Hutton, Clarence Williams III. Bunch of great actors in here, but always really like this film. Then we have another 88 films released here. We have Hero with Yoon Biao. I'm like, how come his name isn't on the back? It's on the front. But we have Hero with Yoon Biao. So there you go. And Here's a Time to Kill. I should have put it with The Client because it's Joel Schumacher, but I do have A Time to Kill, which is another good movie. And I'm surprised they never did a super special deluxe edition of this, but not an easy movie to sit through. There is some pretty heavy stuff in there, but it is a pretty damn good movie. I will say that. It's a pretty solid film. Another good drama, with not completely a courtroom drama. Most of it is, but there's stuff outside of it which is pretty good too. But it's a pretty heavy movie to get through, but it's got some really good actors in it. Some good stuff. Then we have, speaking of James Woods, Diggstown, which I got this at a record store for $1, so I can't complain. And also the late great Lou Gossett Jr. How could I forget about Cappy from Iron Eagle? But heard this was a good movie. Like I said, found it for $1. You can't go wrong. And then we have another film that I actually really enjoyed, End of Watch. I think this just got a 4K, I think from Shout Factory actually, but it doesn't have any new extras, so there's really no need for me to go get it, but I'm good with this. But I actually quite enjoyed this film. The ending is very sad, I will say that, but it is a pretty damn good movie. And speaking of James Woods again, because one of my all-time favorite actors, and this is actually one of my favorite movies that he did, but Cop, great movie. So there you go. If you have not seen this movie, what are you waiting for? It's funny because I bought this and then Criterion announced that they were doing it. But we have Malcolm X. Great movie. And this is the digibook. And it's actually one of the few Spike Lee movies I actually like, because I cannot stand Spike Lee as a person. I think he is a scumbag. He's always talking about white people and racism. Shut the fuck up, okay? No one cares what you think. And honestly, I never really thought he was that good of a director, apart from really this movie and a few other ones, but that's it. I think he's overrated as fuck. Then we have, I know this just got announced for a 4K, probably not going to get it, but I do have No Escape, which I really enjoyed this movie. This is another one, like Sci-Fi Channel used to run the shit out of this movie back in the day. I used to watch it on there a lot. Haven't seen it for quite some time. But there's a bunch of extras on here. There's a brand new interview with Martin Campbell, the director, and a bunch of other stuff on here. But like I said, I always really liked this film. There was a video game too. I never played the video game, but there was a video game at one point. Then we have a Bolo Yeung double feature, believe it or not, with Blood Fight and Ironheart, which are two of the more B movies that he made. I want to say Blood Fight, he's the bad guy. And then Ironheart, I think he's actually a villain as well. Yeah, I think he's a bad guy in both of these. But Ironheart was directed by Robert Klaus, who did Enter the Dragon. But yeah, I've never seen these. I think I got them cheap. So we'll see what they have to offer. Then this was sent to me, I think, by Steven. I think by Decker Striker. But we have Uncut Gems! And the reason why I say it like that is because, what's her name? Julia Fox. She's a fucking idiot. but she did an interview and she kept saying it like that in the interview. And I still have not seen this movie. I still have not watched this movie. So one of these days I will. Then we have Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola film, which great visuals, absolutely great visuals. It is very well directed. Anthony Hopkins was great as Van Helsing. Gary Oldman was fantastic as Dracula. The reason why he did the movie, he wasn't really interested in it, to be honest, but he wanted to play Dracula, and the line, I have traveled the oceans of time to find you. He's like, yeah, I kind of want to say that. So, but he was great, and the musical score is fantastic. The rest of the movie, Keanu Reeves was completely miscast as Harker. I would even argue that Winona Ryder was miscast, but it does have its strong points and stuff. And it's funny because this is another film that when it came out, it did all this business, it got all this attention and awards and everything, and then now nobody ever talks about it. But it is overall, it's a good movie, but there's a lot of flaws with the film, I would say. But then you also have the positives of Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins, and visually it's beautiful and it's all practical effects, and they tried to do as much in camera as they could, and an amazing musical score. So there's that. Alright, then I have the German release of the 2017 Power Rangers film, because this actually has all the extras that were on the exclusive releases here in America on a Blu-ray, because some of the releases here in America only had them on a DVD. So there's that. Then we have Flight of the Intruder. Actually really like this film. It did not do well when it came out, but I do quite like it. And this Blu-ray was out of print and it was expensive. I don't know where it's at now. But John Milius did that film, and I think he said it was a horrible experience, and he didn't really want to do big budget stuff anymore. And I hope John Milius as well, because he had a stroke a while ago. Next up, amazing documentary. One of my favorite documentaries, to be honest. The Death of Superman Lives. What Happened? Yeah, but I really enjoy. I'm surprised I haven't watched this one yet. And unfortunately, John Schnepp, the director, passed away a couple years ago. But this is a really, really solid documentary if you have not seen this. And yes, I agree. What happened? I would love to have seen Nicolas Cage play Superman, and it didn't happen. So there you go. Another great Vietnam film, Hamburger Hill, which wish this would get an updated special edition, but probably not going to happen. And then speaking of Nicolas Cage, I do have the National Treasure films. We have the first one, and then National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets, which I actually saw this in the theaters when it first came out. I really like both of these. I really enjoyed both. I don't know why they never did a third, because I think the two I think they did well. But I don't know why they never made a third film, to be honest. It would have been cool. And I am going to hire Nicolas Cage to steal the Epstein files, so there you go. And then I do have the first 4 Angry Video Game Nerd Blu-rays. These are the collections that came out. This is when he was still good, so I'll say that. But we have Volume 1, which I think these are the uncut versions of the episodes and such, because they couldn't put some on YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, I think these are it's the first 100 episodes, and like I said, I think they're uncut, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong, but then we have Volume 2, which I know you can't really see it, but it is autographed. There we go, by James Rolfe. And I actually did meet James Rolfe at a concert, no less. I went to see Judas Priest, I think last year, 2024. Yeah, and I was walking to my seat, and I heard his voice. I'm like, that voice sounds really... And I look over, and I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, good to see you. And, I just said hi to him. That was it. But yeah, I did actually meet James Rolfe. So there you go. And then this one has episodes 101 through 114 and extras and stuff like that. And then we have volume 3, which has the next 26 episodes. So it would be 114, 124 would be 10, 134 would be 20, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So 115 to 139-ish, somewhere in there, something like that. Probably off. And then we have volume 4, Ready for Revenge. There is a volume 5, but the only way that you could get it is if you bought the box set of 1 through 4. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll show the back here. My bad. And I had already bought all 4 of them by the time that came out. And some of these were a little pricey because I think they were already out of print. So there you go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I have 1 stack left, and then I have the little bit that's on the next shelf over. So I will actually stop here because I don't want to really go over an hour because I don't want to kill you guys. So I will stop here. We'll do the last stack. I'll pull the stuff off the top of the other shelf. I'll pull out the Legacy Collection because we haven't talked about that yet, and then that will be it. So it will be 46 parts, but part 46 will be short. It won't be any. It'll probably be 20 minutes if that. So, yeah, we'll cut here. Again, it'll probably be a little bit less than an hour. But like I said, I don't want to kill you guys. I don't want it to go an hour and a half, and I don't want you guys to have to hear me talk for that long. So I'll do a quick little cut. I will reset. We will knock out the remaining stuff here in the next part, and then part 46 will just be a little bit shorter. They'll probably about a half an hour, probably not even a half an hour, probably 20 minutes, but we'll do that. So don't you go changing. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.